On August 17th, 6ix9ine's girlfriend, Ariella, was shot and killed in New York. Now, shocking new footage of 6ix9ine behind bars has surfaced. The timing has fans convinced her death and his arrest are connected. Did 6ix9ine have his girlfriend killed? Based on the evidence we've got, it's starting to look that way. I've got the full breakdown. The Queen of New York gets gunned down. Just when y'all thought this story couldn't get no wilder, here comes the plot twist that got everybody's head spinning. 6 days after Ariella's body got found riddled with bullets, 6ix9ine himself got arrested on August 23rd, 2025 for violating his supervised release terms. Now, tell me that timing ain't suspicious as hell. And to make it crazier, new footage of him has dropped. But before we get to the messy details, let's rewind and talk about how we got here. On August 17th, 2025, the streets lost a real one when Ariella Langasta Maya Palano got found shot dead in her whip on the Cross County Parkway in Mount Vernon, New York. This Dominican queen, just 33 years old, was sitting in her black Mercedes-Benz G-Class when some cowards decided to spray her ride with bullets around 8 in the morning. The medical examiner confirmed what we all feared. Multiple gunshot wounds took out this beautiful soul. Police straight up said this was not a random act and called it an orchestrated attack. Ariella was coming back from her shift at Icon New York Lounge in Manhattan, where she worked as a bartender just trying to make her money and take care of her 2 daughters. She had over 566,000 followers on Instagram, and everybody who knew her said she was that person who could light up any room she walked into. But here's where it gets real spicy, my people. Ariella wasn't just any random influencer. She was deep in 6ix9ine's circle. This girl appeared in his 2023 Y music video and performed with him at
I don't take no L's. That's why I think that's why people hate me, because I'm so arrogant and but it's just me being like, yo, this is the truth, this is the facts. People hate the facts.
Why are you causing all these problems for yourself, sir?
I don't cause no problem, man, you know what I'm saying? I address them. That's me.
Meanwhile, following the most recent events, social media been buzzing with theories that Ariella's murder was retaliation for 6ix9ine's testimony against gang members. One user posted straight facts when they said, "That's why you don't date walking targets." And another kept at it 100 with, "To be in close proximity to him is crazy." Nothing good being said about it. But yo, it gets deeper. Word is Ariella was also linked to some dude named Nada Cartier, described as a suspected gang leader who got questioned after her death. So now we got theories flying left and right. Was she targeted because of 6ix9ine's snitching past, or did her own man's gang ties put her in the crosshair? Either way, this beautiful soul got caught in some deadly street politics. The crime scene itself told a story of pure violence. Her vehicle was found with shattered windows and bullet holes, indicating someone really wanted to make a statement. The Westchester County Police Department brought in local, state, and federal agencies to investigate, showing they taking this case seriously. But with no suspects named and no arrests made, the street's been filling in the blanks with their own theories about who wanted the Queen of New York dead. What made this murder even more heartbreaking was that Ariella's final Instagram post on June 7th, 2025 said, "Happy and blessed," showing her enjoying a night out in a cowboy hat. Just 2 months later, she was gunned down like an animal on a highway. The contrast between her joy in that last post and the brutal way she died got the whole community asking, what kind of monster would do this to such a vibrant young mother? When news broke about Ariella getting gunned down, 6ix9ine took to his Instagram stories with some emotional tributes that had the whole internet in their feelings. My man posted multiple videos and photos of them together, calling her a tremendous woman and the Queen of New York. But the realest part was when he said, "You supported me in everything, my sister. New York won't ever be the same. I loved you." He even posted in Spanish saying, "Yote a and mo gra," showing this wasn't just some industry friendship. This was family. The tributes kept coming, set to a Ventura's Obsession, which he said was their favorite song. You could feel the pain through them posts. And for somebody who usually be trolling and causing chaos, seeing 6ix9ine vulnerable like that hit different. He called her, "There was no heart more beautiful." And you could tell this loss really broke him. The hip-hop community and Ariella's work family showed mad love, too. Cardi B posted Riff Dominican Pretty on her Instagram stories, keeping it simple, but showing respect for a fellow Dominican queen. The clubs where Ariella worked went all out with their tributes. Econ New York posted, "Today we lost our shining star, Darila Langasta. Our hearts are broken. Your joy, your humility, and the way you treated everyone with so much care always made you stand out." They even said, "We still can't believe it. You were our smile."
Let me ask you something. What's the definition of a snitch?
In this case, the definition, who rats out people that they were tight with, rats them out to law enforcement.
What's loyalty to you, Charles?
Loyalty would be that you don't snitch on the people closest on your friends.
If another TMZ staff member kidnaps you, is that loyal to you? You're working right now. Probably stealing all of the money that you're making right now and gives you crumbs of it, but it's taking majority of the money. Is that loyal to you? These are my people. Like, how many people I beefed with in 2018? I beefed with the whole West Coast. I beefed with the Houston. I beefed with Chicago.
Back to the deceased. While some are blaming the rapper, most fans been keeping it 100 in the comment section. On Ariella's Instagram page, people been dropping hearts and prayers, but also asking the hard questions. Rest in peace. Beautiful soul. Mixed with, he's in jail now. Wonder if it's connected. That's the kind of real talk that shows people ain't just mourning, they connecting dots. The memorial in Washington Heights outside Opus Lounge really showed how much love Ariella had in the community. Jacilia Rodriguez came through with flowers and said, "I'm very heartbroken just coming now knowing she had her 2 daughters. Very sad." Another fan, Annalie Hernandez, kept it real when she said, "It really hurts."
That's how they supposed to treat each other. Oh, Mickey Mouse clown.
Go ahead.
Take a picture. Go ahead. Take a picture. I want to be famous now. I want to be famous. Fuck.
Yo, this is Jump 6ix9ine, bro. Yo, homie, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm a fan, bro. No, I'm a fan. I'm just saying, bro. I'm a fan, bro. I know I ain't jumping, bro. I'm just saying.
To constant threats, and now Ariella catching bullets. It's like death follows this man around. Now, here's where the story gets even crazier and why them streets been buzzing about this murder being more than just another senseless killing. 6ix9ine gets locked up days later. This man went from posting emotional tributes about his sister to finding himself back in federal custody, locked up at the same facility where they keeping Diddy and Sam Bankman-Fried. The feds came for him at the Thurgood Marshall United States Courthouse in Manhattan, and boy, they wasn't playing no game. Judge Paul A. Engelmayer, the same judge who sentenced him back in 2019, issued the warrant, and they got him sitting tight until November 12th, 2025 for his hearing. But hold up, fam. Let me break down what really got this rainbow-haired snitch locked back up and why the streets think it's all connected to that murder. See, 6ix9ine been violating his supervised release like it's a hobby. The government hit him with 3 specific violations that had his probation officer heated. First, this dude took his rainbow head to Las Vegas to perform at T-Mobile Arena without getting permission from his PO. Then, when they asked him about it, he straight lied to their face, denying he even went. That's violation number 1. And lying to federal agents ain't never been smart. Second violation. Homeboy been failing drug tests left and right. They caught him with methamphetamine in his system twice, though he tried to play it off saying it was just his prescribed Adderall. Nice try, but the feds ain't buying that excuse. Third strike. My man straight up didn't show up for a mandatory drug test. You know what they say about 3 strikes. And in federal court, they don't play about that supervised release. But wait, it gets deeper than that. Back in March 2025, the feds raided 6ix9ine's Miami mansion and found 3 MDMA pills and cocaine residue in his bedroom. On July 23, 2025, he had to plead guilty to 2 counts of drug possession. But the prosecutors dropped charges for a gun and fentanyl they found in the pool house cause DNA evidence didn't link them to him directly. When 6ix9ine showed up to court on that August 23rd, he tried to explain himself, but his excuses were weaker than his snitching game. He told the judge, "I flew up from Florida and woke up late for being tardy." About that Vegas trip, he said, "I went to Las Vegas to perform at the T-Mobile Arena to make a living and thought I had permission to do so." And for them dirty drug tests, homeboy kept pushing that I tested positive for methamphetamines because I was on Adderall excuse. But yo, the realest part was when he got frustrated and said, "I'm human, bro. I've been jumped for cooperating with the federal government." That right there tells you everything about how his snitching been haunting him every single day since 2019. The timing of this arrest got people's conspiracy theories running wild. Social media have been flooded with posts connecting the dots between Ariella's murder and 6ix9ine's arrest. Some saying the feds locked him up for his own protection. Others thinking they investigating whether his violations somehow connected to that shooting. The fact that he's being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn with high-profile inmates like Sean Diddy Combs and Sam Bankman-Fried shows they taking his safety seriously. Now let me take y'all back to where this whole snitching saga started, cause that's the root of why Ariella might have caught them bullets, and why 6ix9ine been looking over his shoulder ever since. Back in November 2018, the feds snatched up Daniel Hernandez as part of a joint operation targeting the 9 Trey Gangster Bloods, a violent subset of the United Blood Nation that was wreaking havoc in Manhattan and Brooklyn. The indictment was no joke. They hit him with racketeering conspiracy, firearms offenses, conspiracy to commit murder, and violent crimes. This wasn't some light charges neither. We talking about a minimum of 32 years and maximum life in prison if he got convicted on everything. But instead of taking it to trial like a real one, 6ix9ine chose the snitch route. U.S. Attorney Jeffrey S.
Well, Tekashi 6ix9ine, his last day on the stand was last week, Friday. And he, of course, as you guys know, is testifying about the accused 9 Trey Gangsta Blood members, Anthony Harv Ellison and Aljamiah Nuke Mack. Now, he's talking about a lot of different things. And one thing that was part of his testimony was recordings of phone calls and conversations. One call was between Tekashi's former co-defendant, Jamel Mel Murder Jones, and Jim Jones.
This dude named names, detailed gang structure, and confirmed specific crimes. He called Jamal Mel Murder Jones the Godfather and Kafano Shadi Jordan a high-ranking member. Prosecutors called his cooperation extraordinary and game-changing, which in street terms means he told everything he knew and then some. His testimony led to convictions for both Ellison and Mack, who now facing life sentences. Judge Paul Engelmayer praised his cooperation, saying, "Your cooperation was impressive, it was game-changing, it was complete, and it was brave," but also called him out for being a central figure in a vicious and brutal gang. The judge sentenced him to 2 years in prison with 13 months credited, and he got released early in April 2020 because of COVID-19 concerns. But yo, that cooperation came with a price that 6ix9ine been paying ever since. And now it looks like Ariella might have paid the ultimate price for being close to him before he even got arrested in 2018, federal wiretaps caught 9 Trey members planning to super violate him for firing his management and dissing them on the radio. The feds warned him about a credible threat to his life, and that's why they arrested him when they did to save his life. Prosecutors warned back then there is no question that the defendant's life will never be the same because of his cooperation. He and his family will have to take extra safety precautions, and they was right cause 6ix9ine been getting jumped, threatened, and now his close friends catching bullets. What makes this whole situation even more suspicious is how 6ix9ine been moving since Ariella's death. The man who usually can't stay off social media went quiet for days after posting them tributes. Then boom, he gets arrested. Some people saying the feds been watching him extra close since the murder, waiting for him to slip up so they could bring him in for questioning. Others think his violations were just an excuse to get him off the streets before he became the next victim. The streets been connecting these dots since day one. When somebody with 6ix9ine snitching history gets people around him killed, ain't no such thing as coincidence. That August 23rd arrest, just 6 days after Ariella's murder, got people asking if the feds know something we don't about that shooting. Maybe they locked him up for his own protection. Or maybe they investigating whether his violations...
Okay, now you did an interview with the Daily Beast, and you talked about that throughout your relationship there was a lot of domestic abuse.
Yeah.
Like, at what point in the relationship did the abuse first start?
It happened very early on in our relationship, like maybe a month after I moved in with him. That was the first time he put his hands on me. And I didn't know how to take that. Like, I've never had a guy put their hands on me This is my first boyfriend. You know, I didn't know how to handle that situation.
But yo, before we wrap this up, we gotta talk about 6ix9ine's track record with women, cause this pattern been going on way longer than people realize. While everybody focused on his snitching and gang ties, this dude been allegedly putting hands on women for over a decade, and that history might give us some clues about what type of person we really dealing with. Let's start with Sarah Molina, the mother of his daughter Soraya, who dealt with 6ix9ine's abuse from 2011 to 2018, 7 whole years.
One incident was me and him was arguing. We was walking towards Marcy and by the factories. He wanted me to take pictures of him. Yeah, he punched me in my eye. Like, he punched me in my face. And it was like, I think I was trying to scuffle with him, but he punched me repeatedly and I had like 2 black eyes, and he left as soon as he did it. So I half fell asleep, and when he came back home, I guess I was sleeping, he saw my face and saw that I had like 2 black eyes. And I guess he woke me up and was like, I'm sorry, you know. He started crying.
She said this man beat her for 2 hours straight in Dubai back in October 2018, leaving her with 2 black eyes and bruises all over her body. But the worst part, she said he choked her and forced her to have afterward while she was crying. Sarah kept it 100 when she described another incident in an interview with Daily Motion where he seemed suddenly stronger, more ferocious, more determined not just to hurt but to injure, and he used a pillow to stifle her screams so the neighbors wouldn't hear. This ain't just some, he said, she said, neither. 6ix9ine actually admitted to domestic violence from 2011 to November 2018 in his federal cooperation agreement. Judge Angel Mir confirmed in court that Hernandez admits domestic violence from 2011 to November 2018. The details Sarah shared about that Dubai incident are straight nightmare fuel. She said 6ix9ine accused her of sleeping with his manager Kfano Shadi Jordan, then went into a rage and started to punch me again. He started beating me for 2 hours straight. He had the craziest look in his eyes.
But you actually didn't leave.
Yeah.
But why is that?
I don't know. In a way, I felt stuck. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of felt numb to the situation. Because he was already doing it. And the extent of how he beat me in front of my daughter, it would have been one thing.
But it gets worse. In 2020 interviews, 6ix9ine admitted to being an addict and having relations with more than 70 other women during his relationship with Sarah, resulting in multiple pregnancies and STDs. Imagine being trapped with a man who beaten you, cheating on you, and bringing diseases home to you and your child. Sarah stayed quiet for years to protect her reputation, but when she finally spoke out, the details were devastating. Then we got Rachel Jade Whatley, who started dating 6ix9ine in 2018, right before he got locked up for that racketeering case. This relationship was toxic from jump, with Jade getting 6ix9ine tattoos on her chest and need to prove her loyalty. But in August 2022, the roles reversed when Jade got arrested for battery after punching 6ix9ine and grabbing his chain at Kiki by the River nightclub in Miami. Police surveillance caught the whole thing, and she got hit with a no-contact order that required her to stay 500 feet away from him. But here's the crazy part. 6ix9ine told TMZ, "My relationship with Jade is fine," and didn't press charges, even letting her and her kids stay in his Florida crib while he stayed at a hotel. This relationship was straight chaos, with both of them catching charges. In December 2023, Yalin got arrested after a domestic dispute at 6ix9ine's home, with video showing her appearing to hit him. But TMZ reported she only lashed out after 6ix9ine effectively imprisoned her at his home by refusing to give her passport and money. The whole Dominican Republic situation showed how international 6ix9ine's abuse allegations had become. In January 2024, he got arrested in Santo Domingo after Yalin's mother accused him of assaulting both her and Yalin. Yalin's mom said on the radio he assaulted them after she tried to stop him from beating her daughter. But when it came time for court, Yalin testified that Tekashi never assaulted her, showing how these toxic relationships mess with people's minds and make them protect their abusers. But the real tea came in September 2024 when Yalin filed a federal lawsuit against 6ix9ine alleging physical, emotional, sexual, and financial abuse throughout their relationship. The court documents said defendant has waged an appalling campaign of abuse against her, seeking to dominate, control, and harm her. She also alleged he drugged her, forced her into unnecessary cosmetic surgeries to change her appearance, and posted revenge of her on social media after their August 2024 breakup. She's seeking $1 million in damages. 6ix9ine tried to defend himself, maintaining that all that jewelry is mine. That car she's riding and I bought. The penthouse she got in the Dominican Republic I bought. I took care of her family daughter. But using money to justify abuse is the oldest trick in the abuser's playbook. Financial control is a classic form of domestic abuse, and his response basically confirmed what Yalin was saying about him using money to control her. The revenge allegations are particularly troubling because they show 6ix9ine's willingness to use intimate content as a weapon against women who cross him. Posting private images without consent is illegal in most states and shows a level of vindictiveness that goes beyond normal breakup drama. What's really sick is how 6ix9ine's pattern of abuse mirrors his snitching behavior. He betrays people who trust him most, whether it's gang members who brought him into their circle or women who let him into their hearts and beds. This man got a history of destroying the people closest to him. It paints a picture of a man who don't respect women and got serious anger management issues. And when somebody with that history gets close to women, bad things tend to happen. While there ain't no direct evidence linking 6ix9ine to Ariela's murder, yet his pattern of putting women in danger through his lifestyle choices and violent history got people asking questions. Whether it was his gang ties that got her killed or something more personal, one thing's for sure, being close to 6ix9ine been hazardous to women's health for over a decade. The street's been trying to tell y'all about this man's character, but people stayed focused on the music and the memes. Now with Ariela dead, 6ix9ine locked up again, and a trail of abused women in his wake, maybe it's time people started listening to what his actions been saying all along. This ain't just about snitching or gang ties, this about a man who destroys everything he touches, and the women in his life pay the highest price. If you enjoyed watching this video and wouldn't mind more of such content, make sure to click on the card showing on the screen.